Avarice is for a man to see what he spends as waste and what he keeps as honor. Whoever is generous becomes prominent, while the miser is despised, even if he is among the most generous of people who gives to those who do not expect it. The arrogant and the miser, no matter their merits, do not deserve attention. The coward claims to be cautious, while the miser claims to be frugal. A closed hand cannot shake hands with anyone. The miser lives his entire life without tasting the flavor of life. The miser hoards his wealth, but in reality his wealth does not belong to him. Those who spend hours accumulating riches out of fear of poverty are the ones who truly become poor. It is the height of madness to live in poverty just to die rich. Wealth elevates those who, but for their coins, would not be regarded. They remain in a state of lowliness. The white eggs will not be freely laid from their hands except from pain and sickness. It is as if they are made from the hides of misers. In times of trouble, they are hoarded like the most valuable treasures. As all faults age, avarice remains youthful. I commanded a miser to be frugal, for there is no path to what you command. I see people as friends of the generous, but I do not see a miser who has friends in this world. One of the best states of a young man, if he knew it, is to say something that yields results. I have seen that avarice diminishes its owners, so I honored myself by refusing to be called a miser. My giving is akin to that of the abundant as a show of generosity, while my wealth, as you know, is little. Avarice stems from bad suspicion, low ambition, poor vision, bad choices, and denial of goodness. Even if the miser gains wealth, you will see the signs of poverty upon him. Were it not for avarice, a group would not perish. They meet fate with anger. I have tired of blaming them, and the advocates of goodness have grown weary of sins. The treasures of a miser end up with thieves and kings. Do not hide tomorrow's sustenance for the day after tomorrow, for every day brings its sustenance with it. Save something good for the least of provisions, and you will find it on the day of resurrection. He who is stingy with himself hoards wealth for others. The miser steals from himself, while the squanderer steals from his heirs. The miser is a constant beggar. Spend what is in your pocket, and what is in the unseen will come to you. He who does not feed the dog feeds the thief. A rich miser is poorer than a beggar. The miser is poor and does not receive credit for his poverty. To save a nail, one loses a horse. The miser is always ready to even sell his share of the sun. The squanderer is the beggar of the future, while the miser is the eternal beggar. How easy it is to spend from someone else's pocket. The good deed of the miser after his death. After the vices age, avarice remains youthful. The disease of greed has no cure, and the sickness of avarice has no doctor. Avarice gathers all the faults and defects and severs the bonds of hearts. The adornment of the wealthy is generosity, the adornment of the poor is contentment, and the adornment of a woman is chastity. What you give up and leave behind is yours, while what you hide and keep will go to others. Generosity is not giving me what I need more than you do. Rather, it is giving me what you need more than I do. A generous person always feels rich. Beware of the noble when he is hungry and the miser when he is full. Listening is a form of generosity, hosting others' opinions. Good reception is an art. It is the state's duty to teach the miserly how to be generous and charitable through the law if it does not arise from the awakening of consciences and the vitality of souls. They thought the prophet did not grieve, just as some believe that a brave person does not fear or love life and that a generous person does not value money. However, a heart that does not appreciate the value of money has no merit in generosity, a heart that does not fear has no merit in courage, and a heart that does not grieve has no merit in patience. The merit lies in grieving and overcoming it, in fearing and transcending it, and in knowing the value of money and preferring others over oneself. How noble is the generosity that comes from a poor person who has nothing to satisfy their hunger, and how dreadful is the greed that comes from a wealthy person who would give all the gold on earth for a desire for the treasures of heaven, yet would not give a mustard seed to others. True generosity is doing a good deed for someone who will never know what you have done. Generosity is our strength even if love is not. The richest wealth is the mind, the greatest poverty is ignorance, the most desolate loneliness is pride, and the noblest generosity is good character. Many have forsaken generosity for mere kindness. Let us try to teach generosity and selflessness, for we are born selfish. Whoever is generous but not abundant is not counted among the generous. I saw a generous soul receiving his sustenance. Blessed is he and not given to greedy ambition. Every miser will not exceed his sustenance, and how many have had their sustenance fulfilled while they remain calm? The generous conceals his difficulties from you, so you see him as rich while he is exhausted. The miser has ailments concerning his wealth, the green-eyed ones have black faces. The generosity of the youth is not due to wealth. Rather, generosity is for the one who has little and shares. Generosity is a noble trait, superior to others. It is a virtue that spreads throughout the horizons. There is no covering for faults like generosity, and the defect of the miser is uncovered. All nobility lies in generosity, and you will not see a miser called a lord in his tribe. Generosity and kindness cover the flaws of this world and the next. Give to me and do not mention what you have given. Generosity comes from what exists. The generous lack money and the wealthy lack generosity. Generosity in life is very different from generosity at the hour of death. One arises from true forgiveness and goodness, while the other stems from pride or fear. True generosity towards the future lies in giving all of the present. Actions do not always reveal the nature of men. One who performs a generous act is not necessarily generous. True generosity is doing something kind for someone who will never find out. Mercy is deeper than love, purer and cleaner. It contains love, sacrifice, self-denial, forgiveness, compassion, pardon, and generosity. All of us can love by virtue of our human nature, but few of us are capable of mercy. Honesty, sincerity, simplicity, humility, generosity, absence of arrogance, and the ability to serve others, qualities accessible to every soul, are the true foundations of our spiritual lives. It is the state's duty to teach the miserly how to be generous and charitable through the law if it does not arise from the awakening of consciences and the vitality of souls. Signs of generosity include mercy, while signs of meanness include cruelty. Frankness and generosity, if not accompanied by moderation, can lead their possessor to ruin. Generosity is giving what you truly need. Generosity is being quicker to give in matters that people do not talk about than to give in matters that are commonly known. Generosity in promises is the most trivial and least burdensome form of generosity.